What, this weeb has another one of these? How much in this One Piece live action thing is he gonna keep milking? Hey everybody, and welcome to Thursday Thermal Takes, the show where we shipwreck the hottest of takes onto the most port of Thursdays. Today we'll be adding a third installment to the One Piece live action reaction series that I've been doing on this channel. And as promised, I would do one when we had more information, and not just one cast member or whatever. We actually have a few things to go over in this episode. First though, do be sure to like and subscribe to the video. It does help a lot with the algorithms, and it helps me bring you all this amazing content even more. For more updates, you can follow me on twitter.com/proantagonist2, since I can't do community updates to the channel yet. As I previously hinted at, we're going to get into more cast revelations for the One Piece series, starting off with Peter Gaggio, I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that correctly, as Shanks, the redhead captain pirate dude. He's great. I can't say a lot without actually spoiling parts of the series, because Shanks is kind of crucial to episode 1 or whatever the beginning, the Luffy introduction backstory is going to be about. This guy's apparently supposed to be pretty good. He looks kind of suave and smooth, kind of like maybe a little bit more Mihawk-y, honestly, than Shanks, because I'd expected Mihawk to kind of look like that. The picture that you see on IMDb and other stuff is usually this cool dude with a mustache and everything. Honestly, of all these cast members, the only one who seems to be super noteworthy is Vincent Regan, because he played in movies like Troy and 300 and Clash of the Titans and Snow White and the Huntsman and other stuff like that. But really, I don't know that necessarily we're going to have a lot of experience here that you're going to be able to see before you see the show. A lot of these people have been in their own shows and things that have been relevant in the recent past. It's kind of just been this giant jigsaw puzzle of all these different actors and actresses that we don't really know that well yet, just in the general film and TV industry in general, all coming together into this One Piece thing, and hopefully they're actually good. Going back to IMDb, though, we also have 2 new cast members that I didn't expect to find, but just kind of showed up on there. We have Len Barry Simmons playing Chew, and Jean Henry, I'm assuming it's Jean Henry, playing Full Body. So this is kind of interesting, actually. We have 2 cast members who aren't necessarily confirmed by a whole lot of other stuff, but are on IMDb's page for One Piece. And it's interesting because I guess maybe no one cares, because these aren't particularly important characters, although I would have thought that Full Body would have been a pretty big revelation, considering he's actually a reasonably known character. Like, he's recurring in the whole series. Been in Marineford, been in other different types of stuff later on down the line. He does kind of start as a bit character, but ends up becoming much more relevant later on, especially at the end of Alabasta. That's kind of weird, because most of the time I've been able to find articles and other source material backing up the claims that these actors and actresses are in the show as these different characters. IMDb is the only place I've found so far that has had Full Body and Chew listed as cast members. From what I understand, neither of these people very important at all in the movie industry. They're literally like, their pages are so thin and bare that it doesn't seem like they're really used to acting all that much. It's probably kind of one of their big break roles. There's not a whole lot of characters that actually got revealed, but I did think it was noteworthy to just mention the 2 from IMDb, and then of course Shanks, because of course Shanks is one of the most popular characters in all of One Piece. It's kind of interesting about Shanks is that he's not always that relevant of a character. He's only been in about maybe 10 or so chapters out of the 1,000 that we've had in the series, and so he's kind of a behind the scenes character. He doesn't really show up a whole lot in the story, but that could change. They could add little bit parts and make their own. I shudder to think we already have anime canon, now we could have a live action canon. That's yucky. I mean, having a Shanks appearance that doesn't actually change the story or the canon whatsoever, that's probably not a big deal. I don't see there being a whole lot of specific use for this one guy. It's funny because he's probably only going to be in about 1 episode of the series, even though on, like I said, going back to IMDb, he's credited as being in 10 episodes. That's kind of strange. We also have a lot of new revelations in terms of the set pieces and set design. We have the Going Merry, finally. We have actual pictures of the Going Merry set design, and it actually looks pretty cool. I mean, you see the bow of the ship and everything, the little sheep ram thingy-majigger on the helm. I honestly don't know what to call it other than Mary's face, because the Going Merry is kind of like a character in the series. I'm sort of considering this like a, wow, we revealed a new character. We also have some other set pieces. We have some images from Logtown that have circulated around. I've seen one of Roger's execution platform that they thought that they found, and honestly, Roger's execution platform looks pretty amazing. A lot cooler than the little tiny scaffold that they had in the anime. It seems diminutive when you look at the design for what's most likely the Rogers Execution platform, because it's not even necessarily confirmed. But assuming that's actually the platform and not just that crappy little dinky square on stilts, and that's one of the only times you're ever going to hear me say something bad about the manga that might be good about the adaptation. I've seen one of a Marine Office. I've seen one that is possibly Baratier. There's some interesting stuff if you look online, but I've gone into all the ones that I've seen, and honestly they all look pretty good. I would say that the immersion factor is probably going to be very spot on in the series. They're putting a lot of effort and money into this, and at the very least, even if it's a complete flop, I would like to see just how good of a job they do in terms of every single individual aspect of the series. And finally, the last big update, we're going to get into some speculation here because we have Jamie Lee Curtis, who is apparently a super fan of One Piece, or at least some sort of pretty decent fan. She's been interviewed and apparently really wants to be involved in the series as an actress, as a very well-known actress. I would assume this might happen in the future. The character she wants to play, though, she said she wanted to play Nico Robin, but probably couldn't pull it off. It's a little too young of a character for her. But she definitely said that she wanted to play Dr. Kureha from the Drum Island, which would probably be in Season 2 of One Piece. And I would assume that this could actually happen, because if someone expresses that kind of interest, they're that big of a name. There's a lot of draw to getting them into a series like this, especially when there are a lot of Jamie Lee Curtis fans who probably don't know crap about One Piece. She's very big in the horror genre. She's done some other stuff recently, like Knives Out, she was very known for. And so I don't see a situation in which she gets passed up completely. I could see her being at least a small character in the series. Given that Kureha has not been cast, I would have to assume that she ends up getting cast as Kureha just because it does seem to fit. One Piece, we're going to have to suspend a little bit of our preconceived notions here. So just to make things realistic. So I could see Jamie Lee Curtis definitely playing Kureha. She definitely wants to, and I would assume that's something that the show writers might try to incorporate, something Oda might try to incorporate. Given that she has a long history of work, and she's a pretty good actress. Also, quite notably, her favorite character is apparently Tony Chopper, which works out pretty well with Kureha. Maybe she'd even play Chopper. Who knows? I mean, Chopper does have to have a voice actress. How Chopper-like are they going to make Chopper? That's a very good question, but probably something to get into later. So at this point, we have 12 actual, definitely confirmed cast members, and then we have a few manga characters that may or may not end up in the actual cast or in the actual series that have been pretty well, seems like, confirmed by IMDb. I'm honestly not sure because there's not a lot of sources for that yet. We have 3 more characters. That makes a total of 14, because I'm going to presume that that's correct, and if we have to redact that later, we will. We pretty much have, at this point, in terms of total cast, about a quarter of all the characters. Kind of going to have this little tier list thingy up here to just keep marking off whatever characters we don't see. Maybe by the time we get to the series premiere date, or right before, I can tell you about all the characters they haven't mentioned. Let me know what you think about the new revelations and the recent revelations for One Piece, and definitely like, comment, and subscribe to kind of give me an idea of how good this stuff is. I don't really know what you guys always want to see for Thursday Thermal Takes. There's so many different things I can do, and really it just depends on what I feel like doing or what I think is particularly relevant. So I'd like to get a lot more feedback on what actually people like to see in these thermal takes. Definitely ring the bell for notifications and follow me on Twitter, as I said earlier, if you want to hear anything about the series and possibly just to get some of my ramblings on Twitter. And I will see you next Thursday.